All right, welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Fanon. And in this video, we're going to be in the 154-pound division, where a credentialed journalist leaks information about what the PBC's next move will be with Errol Spence Jr., and it involves a title shot at 154 pounds. The reasoning behind it is interesting, to say the least. Let's talk about that in this video. All right, welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Fanon, and we are going to be in the 154-pound division, where the PBC has a major star in Errol Spence Jr., and plans have been revealed. And I'm saying that all kind of tongue in cheek, by a journalist that actually was a member of the Boxing Writers Association of America, is a Hall of Fame. He has a vote, I do believe, for the International Boxing Hall of Fame, and was connected with the most prestigious magazine in boxing history for a long time, Ring Magazine. And he states that Errol Spence Jr. will be fighting Erickson Lubin mid-portion of next year for a vacant title. Let's talk about that in this video. But before I do, let me welcome you back to the channel. If you are new to the channel, please accept my invitation to hit the subscribe button, hit the bell icon so you can be notified of when we release more videos. And if you are a longtime subscriber and supporter, thank you so much for your continued support. It really does mean a big deal to the channel. Thank you so much for your continued support. But let's get into this because it's ridiculous. And it goes to show you, I don't know if it's true or not. First of all, let me say that. I don't know if that's true or not. And it is definitely a possibility that it could take place. You have Errol Spence Jr., who says he cannot fight at 147 anymore. And you have the 154-pound titleist, who is Jermell Charlo, whose trainer, not Derek James, but Juan Guzman, said that Jermell Charlo is now acclimated to 168 pounds and is pushing for Jermell Charlo to stay at 168 pounds and not go back down to 154. So if that is the case, you're going to wind up with empty belts, because Jermell Charlo will have to drop 3 of the major championship belts at 154, and included in that would be the WBC, the IBF, and the WBA. So you have a fight that took place this weekend, which was Erickson Lubin versus Jesus Ramos. And Erickson Lubin won the fight. There's a bunch of crybabying going on out there about how Erickson Lubin got a gift decision and how Jesus Ramos got robbed. I don't see it as a robbery. I looked at the fight. I saw the fight real time. I'll go back and watch it again. But it looked like for large periods of time, Jesus Ramos was getting outboxed. And at the end of the day, for the last 4 or 5 rounds, he took his foot off the gas, wasn't pressing anymore. And as a result, he lost the fight. Now, why wasn't he pressing? Could be them jabs in the face. But whatever the case is, Mike Montero, very interesting guy, man. Very interesting guy. But his behavior is indicative of a lot of the mainstream corporate media when they're as far as his attitude goes, when it's related to the PBC. They will see corruption. And I think this is a way a lot of people are in boxing. When you do not when you have issues with certain people, it's so much easier for you to see corruption and point out corruption, right? So he says that that the PBC will have Erickson Lubin fight Errol Spence Jr. for a vacant title next year. And in a response to a tweet where they said, yeah, that makes sense. They'll have Errol Spence fight Erickson Lubin, and then they'll have Ramos, later on, a few fights later, fight for a title against somebody they can win. And Mike Montero responds that, that's how they do that. That's how they do it over there. Well, let's address this. First of all, if they did that, I wouldn't have a problem with it. If they had Errol Spence Jr. fighting Erickson Lubin, I think that's a good fight for Errol. I think that's a good fight for Erickson Lubin. And I would prefer to see that over Errol Spence Jr. rematch Terrence Crawford straight away, or Erickson Lubin jump out there with somebody else. I think Erickson Lubin would have deserved the big fight. I think the fight between the two would be a very competitive fight. If Errol Spence Jr. looks good, comfortable at that weight, and is able to beat Erickson Lubin, then hey, man, that bodes well for I think that's good preparation for a fight with Terrence Crawford for a belt at 154 in the rematch that they could have. Erickson Lubin is a southpaw. Makes perfect sense to me to have Errol in his next fight if he takes a competitive fight, because that would be a competitive fight with Erickson Lubin. Erickson Lubin can fight, man. Man ain't no joke. Yeah, he has some losses on his record, but he had some losses against some really big dudes, two really big dudes. And in one of his losses, he equated himself very well. I think just got his face bruised up real bad by Erickson Lubin and by Fundora and those uppercuts. But I wouldn't mind seeing it at all. I wouldn't see, and I don't think that's a bad strategy at all, especially if the belt becomes open with Jermell probably going down to 160 and fighting for titles at 160 pounds if he decides to do that. But I doubt he's going to go to 154. And Terrence Crawford already said he doesn't want to fight him. So unless Terrence is talking about the side of his neck, which, it's not without precedent. So it could happen, but the negativity of the comment, the insinuation that it is corrupt. First of all, that anything about that is corrupt, right? But the corrupt aspect of it is, I guess they made sure that they fixed the fight between Erickson Lubin and they fixed that fight between Erickson Lubin and Jesus Ramos so that they could get a fight with Errol Spence Jr. in mid part of next year. I don't think the PBC and Showtime or PBC is engaged in that type of stuff at all. Otherwise, they would be matchmaking more. They would be matchmaking more often and not having guys like Fundora run into guys like Brian Mendoza. I mean, like those guys, they almost do no matchmaking whatsoever. But I hope the conspiracy theory is right. But the underlying tone, it's the same as usual. But anyway, that's my take on the matter. You let me know what you think in the comment section. And with that, I'm out. Peace.